What's going on, everyone? Got a little bit of a different video for today. As you all know, I play a lot of Star Wars Unlimited, whether it's on stream, for videos, or off videos. And normally I just go ahead and show you the lists that actually somewhat work or actually are really, really powerful. You know, there's a lot of lists out there that are, you know, on that B tier list that we go over on the channel, some that are more combo and memey, and then there are some that are just truly strong, some that are end up being meta or just already meta. However, there are a lot that don't make the list. There are a lot where I am just playing games on my own, just chill it out. Okay, maybe this idea will work, and it does not. It just absolutely flops, and that's what we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about the biggest flops of set 8. So we're going to focus in on the leaders or deck combinations that I have been trying to run, and they have just not really worked out for one reason or another. Maybe it's just I was unlucky and had some bad games, or maybe I just played poorly, and you guys will let me know in the comments, no, give that one an extra try. Please, I want to see that list. But whether it is that, or it is truly just that these lists suck, we're here to talk about that. Huge thank you to my patrons over on Patreon. Some of you out there actually do get to see these lists. And special thank you to Hawks Nest Gaming for supporting the channel and making more videos like this one possible. And let's just dive right into it and start off with probably the biggest travesty of set 8, the one I wanted to work the most and the one that works the least, and that is Bo-Katan Kryze. Now, there is a couple reasons as to why this leader does not really function. The first is we got a lot of Mandalorians in the new set, but we lost a ton of Mandalorians from set 1 through 6. If we had both sets 1 through 6 with the current Mandalorians, I actually think this deck would be pretty good. There are really powerful cards from the earlier sets, something as simple as like Mandalorian Warrior or having like the old Sabine Wren. And you could go like Command Aggression or Command Vigilance. You'd have very, very solid options to choose from. But when you look at the pool right now, I've tried 2 variations of Bo-Katan. I've tried Bo-Katan Blue, and I've tried Bo-Katan Red. I've tried Splash Base and without Splash Base, so I could have more options in certain circumstances. And all of that has just not worked out. And the main reason for it is there's just not enough early plays, right? You have like Bo-Katan, you have like a 2-3 hidden Mando, you've got another 2-3 that doesn't really have any abilities. Your space unit can't work because there's not enough unique Mandalorian units on turn 1 to curve out into it. Like Duchess's champion dies into Mando, but why would I play a 2-3? And like that doesn't really work out because you need a bunch of Mandos to deploy her. And yes, you can get her down on 7 resources relatively reliably, but 7 to deploy for 7, that's not what I'm looking for. That pumps up your rest of your team. And that's where it comes into the other point, which is there are so many controlling decks out there. You play a shielded Mando token, Cad Bane pings the shield off, and you're left with a 2-2 that just dies. You do anything that like tries to put to the board, you got to deal with Imperial Armored Commando somehow, and multiple attacks don't really work all that well. And then eventually your opponent just outvalues you. And then if you're playing a bunch of Mando tokens, your opponent's going to play Pre-Vizsla and then just make those Mando tokens theirs. That's not what you want to see. They printed Mando tokens, and then they printed so many ways to make them look like absolute fools. And that's exactly what has happened. So Bo-Katan, out of anyone on this list, has been the absolute biggest disappointment. The absolute biggest disappointment, which is a little bit unfortunate because for those of you that have watched the channel for a while, you know that I played the old Bo-Katan Aggression version in the past, and I've always come back to it, playing like the new or the old Darksaber and things like that to try to make Mandos work, and they just have not. The next one we got to talk about, I know people are going to be upset, Fennec. I really wanted Fennec to work, mainly because it's honestly just good for the memes, the channel, the viewership. If I'm wrong and you guys come to the videos and you're like, oh my gosh, he's playing a Fennec deck. Let's go out and see how much he's going to flame this leader and how wrong he is. And you know what? Unfortunately, again, so far, I have not been wrong. It's not like anyone was like super high on Fennec anyways, but there are just so many things wrong with this card. Fennec, pay 1, exhaust a friendly unit. I have to have a friendly unit to exhaust. I have to pay 1, and then I play a unit. Sure, it enters ready, but now I'm down a resource. I'm playing behind the curve. You know how awkward it is to do that? And then for your opponent just to slap down an Imperial Armored Commando and like for you to be like, I guess I attack an Imperial Armored Commando and lose my unit because your unit's downsized because you just paid 1 to do just this. And you've got a 4 to deploy 3 for. I mean, this thing has Saboteur, so it trades with Imperial Armored Commando if you want it to, but like that's not a great situation for your leader to be in. This is partially just, and actually maybe even majority, to deal with the fact that there's just so many good options to keep you in the game and keep you surviving and get outvalued immediately, that when you're trying to play behind curve and not getting extra damage in because of it, it's really, really unfortunate. Fennec, pretty big, unfortunate failure of the new set. I got to move on to another one, which I tried to make Grogu work. I did. I was so excited. I was like, okay, we got Grogu. Let's see if we could, actually make this a real leader. Make a video about it. You know how hype this would be for a video? You know how hype this would be? Whenever you play a unique unit, cost 4 or more, you can deploy him. Cool. While your units are defending, you get to have that extra power. All right, kind of interesting. And when another friendly unit is attacking, the defending unit's -1, -0. Ooh, this is kind of cool, right? Yeah, you just don't have a leader. And if you're playing Cunning Heroism, you're usually being a little bit more aggressive. And if you are, you've got no power on your leader to actually push in damage. And your opponents they eventually get to their Chimeras, they get to their Pre-Vizslas, they get to their big units. And suddenly your leader does literally nothing because your units aren't really defending. And you're not really attacking their units except for their Imperial Armored Commando. And if you are attacking their units, well, you're not going to end the game because your opponents are just going to get way higher value than you. Again, this is one where if we're in a more unit-based like situation where we have, I'm going to go ahead and play out my big ol' board and put a bunch of Sentinels down and try to protect them and unit-to-unit combat, we could actually see this Grogu doing some cool things, right? Unfortunately, that's not what the meta is about. It's not. And that results in a pretty rough spot for Grogu, since everything it's trying to do really just doesn't fit in the current iteration of the meta. Not that it was going to be particularly strong outside of that. I don't really believe this was going to be a playable leader even in like previous mid-range style metas, but still, this is not shaped up nearly as well as I was hoping. Gotta move it on to another one that I've tried out, and this is one that I was really hoping for. So if you look here, if I just look at bounty hunters here, we'll move over to the cards here. We did get a couple new ones, so I was excited to try out. We got like Desert Sharpshooter, Fennec Shand. The other ones, not too much, but Ambush Saboteur Bounty Hunter. This one dealing some like damage to upgraded bounty hunters. I was trying to utilize Boba. This one was a failure, but not necessarily like a large one because it wasn't like super hyped up at all. Another really, really unfortunately disappointing one has been Satine. I have tried to utilize like the new Darksaber and some new upgrades to make her just like a super powered up, restore 4. You know what's really bad against that? Imperial Armored Commando. Man, that card just keeps coming up and just completely ruins my day, I tell you. Yes, there are ways to like play in Nothing Left to Fear, or like ways to remove it. But if your whole purpose is to load up one unit and just attack with it, Sentinels just completely screw up that game plan. Another one that I actually had really high hopes for, but has been remarkably unimpressive, has been Piett. This one, like I said, lots of new capital ships. If I just type in capital ship here, you guys can see kind of the new ones from the new set. And there's a lot of interesting ones. So I've tried this in Piett Red and Piett Blue. I did the Piett Blue video. You can see we've got like the Gazanti Assault Carrier, which is pretty strong. The Chimera, which is pretty good as a capital ship. We had like the Reinforcing Light Cruiser, Ravager, Eviscerator. Eviscerator's not really the style of capital ship that you're looking for Piett, since this one just gives advantage tokens, but who cares? Because you're not really like trying to end the game that way. I've even tried yellow actually with the Gorian Shards Corsair. So you guys saw the Vigilance one. That was the best version of them all. The other ones I just found to be remarkably unimpressive. Piett's still a good deck. Like if you're going to play Piett Red, go with the Invisible Hand and play the Droid combination, it's still solid, right? But I wanted to try something a little bit different with some of the capital ships and some of the new units that we had, and it just had not worked out at all, unfortunately. That's just a result of, okay, yes, you can ramp a little bit, but then, Chimera doesn't really do what you're looking to do because you need to have those units down on the battlefield, and doesn't just necessarily win the game on its own with future capital ships. You kind of just end up in like this weird controlling deck that other leaders just do a little bit better. So yeah, Piett Blue has been the best of the ones, and that's the one I made a video on actually. But Piett Red and the other ones, it just feels like you should probably just stick with the normal game plan of going with, yeah, your Piett Reds in the past with Invisible Hand. The last one I want to talk about is Moff Gideon. I've tried a couple different variations of this one, to be honest. I think I did a video. It was one of the first videos I did. Maybe I didn't do a video on Moff Gideon. I don't remember if I did or if I had played it on stream. But I played like a Moff Gideon aggression list, which ended up being okay. But it was super early on in the format. And so I played the Moff Gideon, and at that time it was decent. And then it was like Cad Bane Blue started popping up everywhere. The hard control list started popping up, and it's like miserable to play this deck, really. Because sure, you can get like a really powered up Moff Gideon, but it's so late in the game that your opponents are already on the spot where they can just do whatever they want to you. Like whatever they want. I've had situations where Moff Gideon comes down as like a grit, overwhelm, shielded, sentinel, ambusher with like some potentially really powerful like upgrades in the wings, like sudden ferocity and things like that. And they just like hit it with a unit, ping a shield token off it with Cad Bane, drop like the crab droid or ninth sister and deal a bunch of damage to it, and then just finish it off. And like, it's not like I've been doing a ton of damage throughout the game because, well, I had to play these bad Imperials to try to power up Moff Gideon. It just doesn't really function as a deck, I think, right now. There's not enough Imperial units to be super excited about to like try to curve in and accelerate your curve. And then on top of that, there's just not like a huge payoff with Moff Gideon in general at the end of it. There are some cool things. Like I've played a more controlling version, like Vigilance Command. I don't think I did a video on that one. That one, again, pretty big fail as well, because it was like I was playing just like bad other decks. Like Fennec Blue just felt way better, way more explosive, way more cool things going for it. Or I'm just going to be playing like Aura Sing and just play like super hard control. And it's like, I don't even care about like playing these weird Imperials to try to have Moff Gideon as the win con. Heck, I could even play like old Kylo Ren and then just play Kylo Ren and have him be that big beefy sentinel that comes down and puts a bunch of upgrades on him and just wins the game that way. It's not like I need to play Moff Gideon and do this weird like Imperial synergistic thing to get like this 5/8 with some upgrades and some keywords. There's just too many things. I'm hopeful for this guy in the future. Maybe we get some cool Imperials. I think this is one of those things where if we get more Imperials and we actually start having the ability to use his action to where you can actually curve out with Imperials that are actually good, like you really want these cards, then Moff Gideon makes a lot of sense because, I just get paid off by playing ahead of curve with units that I already wanted to play in this deck. Right now, it's like I'm playing bad Imperials to make it work. Like, or I play like Marin to try to like discard Imperials to make Moff Gideon get keywords. But I mean, we were playing something like Praetorian Elite to get grit, 4 resource, 5/4. Or like a bad Eighth Brother, or like we were playing the new Thrawn, which didn't feel very good. Like weird, or like Eye of Scion, which is all the keywords, but not necessarily strong against most decks. So Moff Gideon, unfortunately, another pretty large failure. That is the ones that I wanted to talk about today. Maybe it was just like a therapy session for me because, like I said, I've invested a lot of time in messing around, and these are just some of the failures. I could go on and on and on about all the different decks that, probably some of you out there have played against me online because I just randomly jam Carabas games and then I'm like just conceding left and right in terms of like, yeah, we just lose this game. It is what it is. Let's try to go back to the drawing board because it's just like these decks aren't viable to like make videos on. And I sometimes put videos out there where I'm like, yeah, this is like borderline. Maybe it's like a low B tier style deck. But if it truly just feels like I'm losing every game, it doesn't feel like a fun game, then it's not really a fun video for me to make. And that's kind of the idea of it. There are some decks where like they're bad. They're like C or D tier decks, but they're like full on combo and I'm trying to pull off the fun combo. And that's fun to do videos on. But then there are decks that I'm like, maybe this is like a fun game plan. And it's like, oh, okay, well, I just get killed and I can't do my thing. And then this happens and then this happens. And it's like, yeah, this deck's just bad. It's just bad. I can't even let anyone be misconstrued to try to pick up this deck. There are a lot of lists that we talk about. Unfortunately, most of the ones that I have played so far in set 8 have been very powerful. Like some of the videos that we did so far, or some of the decks that we went over, like Krennic Blue has been really, really good. We've had the Thrawn Blue, which was really strong. Obi-Wan Blue has been good. The Elspeth Shields has been surprisingly strong. Like that one was I would consider like a high B tier. Even the more meme style where we play like the only 2-drop armor was like a solid low B tier for being like a kind of a meme style deck. The Sloane has been good. Like, so like most of the decks that I've been trying out have actually been pretty strong in terms of all things considered. However, this was for the stinkers on the list. And you know what? If you guys enjoyed the video, let me know in the comment section down below, because maybe I'll do like another blooper style video. Maybe I'll start recording some of the bad clips where we get absolutely annihilated. Like I don't normally record like my pre-testing, but maybe I'll try to get some recordings in there so we can do like a blooper video if you guys enjoy that. But let me know in the comment section. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you all for the next one.